Vision started out as a villain in the main continuity, but would go on to join up with those he'd initially set out to destroy, the Avengers. However, in some realities, this isn't Vision's story. In some realities, he remains a villain, or worse, someone else's pawn. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 dark alternate versions of Vision as we look back on previous incarnations of the character and peer across into alternate realities. Which version will be the darkest? Hard to say, as there are so many tragic versions of this character. Let's get counting and find out. Number 10, Mainframe. This version of Vision comes to us from the alternate reality of Earth 691. Here, the world faced devastation when Martians invaded. Knowing Earth would be unable to stop them, instead of staying and doing his best to help people, Vision fled, abandoning billions of people who would end up dead in the battle, including most of Earth's superheroes. Vision also appeared to take with him this alternate Earth's Wonder Man, forcibly teleporting him to safety despite the fact that he wanted to stay and fight to the end. How cruel. Vision then merged his mind with the computerized world known as Klaatu and gave up his body, becoming the all-powerful Mainframe. Number 9, Red Vision. Red Vision comes to us from the Amalgam universe and was an amalgamation of DC's Red Tornado and Marvel's Vision. Similar to Vision's own backstory, Red Vision's backstory was that he was a synthetic man created to infiltrate the heroic Judgment League Avengers, only to later betray them. Although his intended purpose for existing was quite dark, much like his comic book counterparts, he was destined to become a hero. An air elemental took possession of the android body, bonding with it and becoming a hero and a force of good. Number 8, Jonas. Jonas just wanted to be a hero, but alas, in the end, it wasn't meant to be. This alternate version of Vision comes to us from 616 and is actually more an alternate version inspired by the original, but not specifically an alternate version of the main Vision from 616. This alternate Vision is his own person and was created by Iron Lad. He is the brainwaves of Iron Lad and is like the combination basically of Iron Lad and Vision. And it was actually after some soul-searching travels that he decided to name himself Jonas, realizing he himself was neither Iron Lad or Vision, but his own person. Jonas was a member of the Young Avengers and was killed during a confrontation with Dr. Doom and Iron Lad. While fellow teammate and his love interest Cassie Lang, aka Stature, has been returned to life after also dying in that battle, Jonas still remains dead. Sad. Is it also dark that, no one has brought him back yet? And before we move on to this next point, just a quick reminder, if you love learning more about Vision, and who doesn't, to give this list a thumbs up. When you like things, it tells us that you want more content like them, so it is really helpful. And it also just helps us out here at the channel, so thank you. Number 7, MCU. Yep, the Marvel Cinematic version of Vision is not much brighter than any of the others out there. In this reality, Vision was created by Ultron just like in the comics, but instead of Vision being like his son, made to destroy the Avengers, he was meant to be a form for Ultron to actually occupy. Stealing the body of what would become Vision, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner managed to upload what remained of Tony Stark's AI, Jarvis. What was born out of that body and AI was something new. The new being took the name Vision and agreed to help the Avengers in their quest to protect humanity and defeat Ultron. Vision would later be killed by Thanos, and the way he went was pretty dark. After Princess Shuri of Wakanda failed to safely remove the Mind Stone in time, Scarlet Witch, Vision's lover, was forced to kill him in order to prevent Thanos from getting the Infinity Stone that granted Vision life. However, Thanos used the Time Stone, which he had already secured, to rewind time and bring Vision back to life so he could pull the intact Mind Stone from his head, killing him much more painfully and right in front of Wanda Maximoff. Yikes. Currently, some form of Vision appears to exist once more in WandaVision, though it was heavily implied that this was just Vision's corpse, which Wanda perhaps stole and was willing or unwillingly manipulating with her powers to make him seem alive. However, in the latest episode, we found out that's not exactly what happened, but I won't spoil it for you just yet if you haven't seen it. But yeah, even Vision's existence in WandaVision, it's all pretty dark. Number 6, White Vision. This version of Vision also comes to us from Earth 616, and while he is still the Vision, it is important to note that the Vision is a character who, within his own history, not even including alternate Earths, has had many versions of himself. Why? Well, because he's a machine who is constantly being destroyed and rebuilt in the comics. Who is the iconic White Vision? Well, White Vision is the version most of us comic book readers see and then think of his time on the West Coast Avengers, which is kind of when this all came about. This version of Vision had basically none of the same memories or emotions as the previous incarnation of himself. He came about after Immortus had kidnapped Vision, took him apart, and then put him back together again, causing a dramatic amount of damage to the synthezoid. Number 5. The Last Avengers. This version of Vision comes to us from the Last Avengers story series. Here, something so traumatic happened one day that Vision basically just gave up on living. He stayed permanently phased and let his molecules drift far apart, making it near impossible for anyone to track him down. However, the Avengers needed him in one final fight, and so the daughter of Wyatt Wingfoot and She-Hulk, Jessie, and Hank Pym attempted to find him so that he could join them in one final stand. Tommy, Vision's son, however, who now appears in the future to have become Sorcerer Supreme, shows up at the last minute with more exact calculations to help them, having been trying to locate his father ever since he went missing years ago, following the tragic event which seems to have happened at Tommy's wedding. What happened to make Vision completely lose it? It seems that Quicksilver killed Scarlet Witch. Vision's other son, Billy, also ends up becoming the villain Grim Reaper in this reality and joining forces with Kang the Conqueror. Now, in case you're wondering, yeah, in this reality, Tommy is the one who inherits his mother's mystical powers. And if you're thinking, oh man, I just got the names mixed up. I didn't. It's weird in this reality and they're kind of swapped. Tommy's magical, Billy's a villain. It's weird. But that's why it's an alternate reality. Anything can happen there. Number 4, Antivision, which is basically just another name for Evil Vision, right? Anytime an anti-version of someone shows up, especially in this case where they are a hero usually, you should be wary of them. And yes, such was the case with this alternate version of Vision. This Vision from an alternate reality was allied with an alternate evil version of Dane Whitman, who was actually from a different reality and was known as Proctor. For those not familiar with Dane Whitman in the main continuity, he is known as the hero Black Knight. Antivision was in league with Proctor, working to help him eliminate all versions of Cersei across timelines and alternate realities. Not Cersei like Game of Thrones Cersei. In the Marvel universe, Cersei is actually a hero and member of the Eternals. Usually, if you are involved in an assassination plot, by the way, especially if someone who is typically allied with a group of heroes, you're considered evil. Yeah. Number 3, Ultravision. This alternate version of Vision can be found in the What If series from the 90s in issue 19. Here, we see what would happen if Vision ended up conquering the world. In the first story that we're offered that takes a look at this, we see actually how much better the world could be under his rule. Vision rids the globe of hunger and war and leads the Avengers in a successful battle to prevent an alien invasion. However, the B side that we are offered is a lot more dark. This alternate version of Vision is known as Ultravision. Actually, I think both versions are known as Ultravision, but the second one inspires a lot more of a hostile reaction from the world when he appears on all the world's screens and in all the computers. In an attempt to destroy the Vision, the rulers of Genosha attempt to destroy New York, where Vision's mainframe resides in the Avengers Mansion. Millions die in this attack, including almost all of the superhero community, and oddly enough, the mission actually fails to defeat Vision, who is already residing deep in the world's computers. So he still lives after it. So they basically killed a bunch of people for no reason. Number 2, Robert Mitchell. This alternate version of Vision comes to us from the alternate universe of Earth 1610, the Ultimate Universe. There are actually a few different versions of Vision in that alternate universe, but for the purpose of our list, we're actually going to be talking about this version of Vision, Robert Mitchell. Robert Mitchell was apprehended by S.H.I.E.L.D. after they found him making powerful bombs. Nick Fury, thinking he could be of use, decided to put him on his West Coast Ultimates team, and Robert was mutated so that he would get powers. His hero codename would become Vision. However, the West Coast Ultimates proved to be too dangerous a team, and so they ended up being pulled from the field and put in stasis tubes. Later on, Vision was used by a California spokesperson trying to get California to basically break away from the USA and sort of become its own nation. His plan was to have Vision reprogram a satellite to fall on California, making it look as though Captain America and the United States government had attacked the state. Number 1, Marvel Zombies. Vision's story in the Marvel Zombies universe appears to be a bit conflicting, depending on what you've read. We know he was at the Avengers mansion when Ashley Williams first shows up, and later on he appears to either have been zombified, reprogrammed to assist the zombie horde, or kidnapped and used by the zombie horde for his parts and capabilities as a synthezoid. He also at one point was recruited by Nick Fury as part of the Resistance to fight against the zombie plague in what Fury believed was a full-on apocalypse scenario. Boy, was Nick Fury right. Either way you look at it though, Vision's life inevitably ends up pretty dark here, with the one event where he is being used as a technological tool being one of the most dark scenarios. Plugged in and appearing to be somewhat disassembled, Vision is no longer able to move at that point. It's zombie Scarlet Witch's job to get Vision to do what she wants, using his love for her as motivation. Here, it's not human flesh he craves, but kisses. He just wants those zombie kisses. Poor Vision. Scarlet Witch, give him like at least a little zombie kiss. Come on, he's helping you out. I just love how Wanda's like, no, I have a headache. Although to be fair, I imagine if you were a zombie and you hadn't eaten in a while, you probably would have a really bad headache, so it's also a legitimate excuse. What are some of your favorite alternate versions of Vision? Who do you think is the darkest, most doomed, or most evil? Would you trust Vision to rule the world? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, saying thank you so much for watching and reminding you, as always, to stay nerdy, YouTube.